Hey guys, scenery probably looks a little different here. You can probably tell by the smile on my face. We're getting closer. Pulled into the driveway after a long client trip to find the house here. Obviously knew it was being done, but to find the house constructed. The shell is up. Sorry for the echo in here. Just wanted to kind of bring you guys into the inside the lodge here for the first time. Big deal for us, for myself, putting this all together, and hopefully within a couple of months being able to kind of bring you along on the way of the build, and also have a place here soon to start showcasing the videos with a little better lighting and some nice pine shiplap interior walls with the deer heads back on the walls, and that home feeling, if you will. So we're getting closer, but yeah, so as we spin around here, just kind of give you a quick tour of what we've got. I decided to build a barn dominium style lodge. The video, obviously the pictures are deceiving, but 30 by 64 is the dimension, and then we've got a 10 by 30 covered porch out here that we're going to have all concrete underneath it. So how's that tie into today's video? How this ties in, guys, is this time of the year, what I find is folks obviously are starting the construction part of your farms. And so that's kind of what relates to this video here for today. I'm experiencing that as well, just on a kind of a different platform, right? In the building process, not only the farm out here in the habitat world for the deer on the new property here in Kentucky, but also, getting the new home built and underway here to try to get inside of it here well before fall. So I feel your pain. I really do. Construction, whether you're out on the farm building whitetail habitat, or you're in, living out of a camper in a motel and waiting for something like this to be completed, can be a bit overwhelming at times. But the best thing to have is a solid plan. So we've done videos on this before, guys. We've talked about this. We've talked through these strategies. But one thing we're going to chat about today is a huge myth that's out here in this world right now, in the world of the habitat world, I guess you could say. Professionals, managers giving opinions that are kind of handicapping or hindering the process of some very, very good farms. Now, like I said, I feel blessed to be able to travel the country and see as many properties a year as I do, and that's what ties into my opinion here, like on this video. So where I'm going with that, guys, is this. There's this huge myth in this industry right now in the world, the whitetail world, if you will, that if you don't get your properties established from January, from January to March or April, you've missed the boat, and it's time to get the boat out and go fishing instead of focusing on the whitetail part of your farm. Couldn't be further from the truth. I'm going to share a couple things here with you guys today that hopefully might resonate with a couple of you watching. I know it'll resonate with a gentleman out of Southwest Wisconsin this year on his success. Now, many clients last year were able to hang good deer on the meat hook and on the wall. But this one here that we're going to speak of is a prime example of why don't ever stop that process until about a month before the season starts, to kind of give it that rest going into that season. And also, the month of July probably isn't the best month. That's one you got to watch as far as building. For that reason is the heat and scarring hinges and making sure that if there's any logging or tree work that have to be done, really watching that that time of the year to make sure that your regeneration reacts to the projects that you've got as far as timber and anything that needs to regenerate. So what happens, guys, is this. I'm going to share some numbers here with you. So you hear me say in the past, and like I've said before, I'll probably say it a million more times, 80% of the clients that I go on, 80% of the properties that I visit throughout the year are not habitat correct. Like I say, that not only are they not habitat correct, they're not habitat correct in the right areas, meaning edge and how you're accessing and getting into the farm and what you're hunting from the outside. Now, and that, I guess that includes the internal as well, you know, in your potential bedding pockets, your buck bedding pockets, internal, all that plays into it. They're not correct. So, but on the other hand, let's say 95% of properties that I go on have the habitat. Your habitat's there. After leaf out, before leaf out, especially after leaf out, you have all the habitat in the world. But the problem with it is it's 40 to 50, 60 feet in the air, right? It's there, but it's way above their heads. You know, it could be in log material that needs to come out and just the tops. So dead debris. It could be, you know, you have that TSI kind of look on your property right now that's been managed for years, and you have the availability to start putting some hinge cuts down in certain areas, you know, along some transitions or internal of some bedding areas, whether that be doe or buck bedding areas. All the habitat's there. All the food in the world is there. It's just 40, 50, 60 feet above that deer's head. So with that said is, you know, a lot of folks think that if you don't get that done between January and April, let's say, you've missed the boat. And like I said, it's a huge missed step. So the gentleman that I was speaking of earlier is a perfect example of this. Their farm, they've had some good luck over it. They haven't owned it, you know, many years, but they've had some good luck and shared some good family experiences, you know, on the property. But there was a missing link, and they couldn't just figure out what was missing. They wanted a different set of eyes, so they hired me to come down to Southwest Wisconsin last year. We weren't able to get there until June. They started on the property, only completed about 20% through the phases that I recommended, which I recommend to all my clients. They, at the end of my habitat plans, they took that opinion and they started focusing on doe bedding. They went in, they had some plots that were there, blew in a couple new ones, and started putting that habitat that in them doe bedding areas, locking those does in. So this is after leaf out, everything went on the ground. Well, I'll share a couple of success stories with you. They put that debris on the ground. One of the first sits in one of the stands, which is, you know, is a hot stand, relates to a lot of buck cruising movement on the farm. Crawled in and killed a 175-inch 5-year-old buck off the property. Just not too long after that, a couple sits later, his father crawled in the same stand and killed another mature buck out of that same stand. So as a joke, you know, we've talked, it's like, hey, we know you're good, but not that good. What's the story? What happened? And that's exactly what happened, guys. One, it was just the piece of the puzzle on the farm that was the right area that's been overlooked. You know, no harm of them, just something that that's why you have me there, to try to bring those areas to the surface. And not only did we do that, we put the habitat, gave them food at their head. Simple math is this, guys. If you, after leaf out, or any time of the year, a deer's intake is 8 pounds a day. In that area of Wisconsin, it's probably about 85%, possibly 90%. They are in Southwest, so let's say it's 80%, 85% of a deer's intake is woody browse. 8 pounds a day. Let's just use a rough number of 6 pounds a day in browse. Well, here's the thing. You would have to have, and on that's 40 acres, by the way. You would have to have 100 deer on 40 acres to eat the amount of tonnage that you have laid down for those deer to use after leaf out. It's an astronomical amount of tonnage that you add, and if it's done right at the end of the season, that first season that's done following a summer build after leaf out, the first fall that follows that could potentially be the best year, best fall that you'll ever have on the property. And why is that? Is because you're bringing that habitat, you're bringing those does to the right area of the plate, if you will, and you're locking them in. And next thing you know, you're in business because you have the correct habitat, you have side cover, hopefully and possibly some thermal cover in there. Those does are locked in, they're adjacent to your food sources. We start, being able to hunt behind the does, and all the pieces of the puzzle start to come in. Now, so I'm not just saying that just because, it's like, yes, I can still come late in the season and I've had some openings or whatever the case is. That's not what this video is about. The video is about is to explain kind of that never give up. You know, it's a long process like building a home is. And, you know, some of it, I've got clients, you know, guys, I tell folks this all the time. When I leave the property, I have clients that build it in 3 weeks. I've got clients that build it in 3 years. It all depends on your timing, your funds, and how much, you know, support and help that you have to get these projects done. But one thing to keep in mind is if you reach out to me in November of the deer season, let's say, when a lot of folks start saying, okay, we're struggling, there's something missing, I finally, you know, saved up X amount of money, I want to have somebody come in, I want to, you know, get some proper habitat, and you know, and like I said, which I reference to a lot of folks all the time, guys, it's not that some properties are very close, you know, it's just carrying accesses, getting your food, get your screening under control, you know, stuff like that. So it's never, you know, I did a project last week in Indiana. Both him and his brother, they've been bow hunting for 40 years. And so it's not, they obviously have been in the timber years before or longer than I have a wealth of knowledge, you know, in a great area of, you know, that southern tier of Indiana, and they have a great property. I mean, it's a great piece of the puzzle. It was just a new, fresh set of eyes that brought the property to the surface. By the time we left, they were shocked of just the stuff that we were able to work together on and bring to the surface, and really feel that property is going to be one of the herd influencers, if you will, in that area. So with that said, if they wouldn't have done that, you know, that southwest Wisconsin property, they would have waited till the following year. That success of those two mature bucks would not have come to them because they would have been a year out. Somebody else may have, you know, taken advantage of that. So like I said, guys, if you reach out during the deer season when all that stuff in November starts coming to folks' attention, that we're struggling or you need some help or you want to take your property to the next level, if you were to call me then, I'm usually booked out until March. So by doing this and taking advantage of a late summer design or a late summer build, let's say, and giving the deer what they need in a property that is, you know, maybe contour correct, access correct, just not habitat and food correct, you're able to have a successful fall. And also what you're also doing, guys, is you're off and running, let's say in January of next year after the season ends, your boots on the ground in full motion, finishing what you weren't able to get done in the late summer after that late design or that late build was started. You go in January, you're not waiting for me to get there to help. You are off and running, your design is already complete, and you are ahead of everybody else that's waiting to call in November. So thanks for coming along. I appreciate everybody's support. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we got some big, beautiful lights here coming soon with some, get the deer heads back on the wall, add a couple to the wall. We will be hopefully doing a lot more videos from inside as you can tell it's raining, but from inside the building here shortly. So thanks guys, I appreciate it. Stay whitetail driven.